Hi, I'm Lisa, and welcome to Piano Video Lessons Note Reading course. In the 15 lessons of this course, you're going to learn to read all of the white and black keys on the piano. We're going to practice them using the NoteRush app as well as the workbook. Let's get started. In today's lesson, we're going to learn to read 3 landmark notes on the grand staff: treble G, bass F, and middle C. So let's go through this entire lesson together so that you can learn to recognize these notes. If you already know them and you want to practice them, you can check the video description for links to the workbook and also the NoteRush drill. So looking at the staff here on the page, we can see there's a lot of lines and some symbols at the beginning. So the symbols that are found at the beginning are clefs, and the top clef is called a treble clef. So I'm making it green up here. The treble clef indicates notes that are on the high end of the piano keyboard, and these are usually played with your right hand. This top set of 5 lines are dedicated to your right hand playing the piano. The other staff has a bass clef at the beginning, and this bass clef indicates notes that are low on the piano, that are normally played with your left hand. So these 5 lines represent notes played in the bass staff with your left hand. The treble clef is also called the G clef, and it helps us find the note that lives on the same line that it is curling around. The G clef helps us find the note G. And here it is on the piano. This note is middle C. It's in the middle of my keyboard, and then I'm going up to the first G that I find moving up the piano. So this note is a landmark note. We're going to use it later to help us find other notes nearby. So I want you to remember that treble G is a line note, and it lives on the second line of the treble staff. Okay, and it lives right here on the piano. So we said there are 2 staffs, one for the right hand and one for the left hand. So let's move on to the next page where we'll see a note written in the bass staff. So this bass staff has a bass clef at the beginning. It's the left hand set of lines, and this bass clef is also called an F clef, and it helps us to find a note that lives on the line that the clef is targeting. And you can see there are a couple of dots here with this clef that are kind of on the other side of the line for this particular note. And this note is bass F, and it lives in the left hand just below the middle, and you play it right here below middle C. So I want you to remember that bass F is in the bass clef, and it's 2 lines down from the middle. So treble G is 2 lines up from the middle, bass F is 2 lines down from the middle. So remember that. Now I keep talking about middle C, and that's the next note we're going to learn. I saved it for the third one though, because there are 2 different ways to write it. Sometimes you want to play middle C with your right hand, and other times you want to play it with your left hand. So in the case that we want to play it with the right hand, it needs to be kind of near the top set of lines. So when we're playing it with the right hand, we write it closer to the treble staff. When we're playing it with the left hand, we write it closer to the bass staff. So that's just a trick to know which hand is playing middle C. But now how do we recognize it? You might have noticed that it doesn't live on the staff lines. There are 5 staff lines, and middle C has its own short little line that helps you see it in the middle, in all of this middle space here. It has its own special line. We call these small lines ledger lines, and they are used to extend the staff, in this case toward the middle. So here I've written middle C, it lives right here, and this one is played with the right hand. So we can also play it with the left hand, and in order to see which one that is, it's just written closer on its own ledger line, but now in the vicinity of that lower staff. So we know it's for the left hand, and it's just one ledger line above the bass staff, and you're going to recognize this as middle C. So anytime you see a note that lives in this middle area that has a single ledger line, it's middle C. So the single ledger line can come from the upper staff, or the single ledger line can come from the lower staff. Regardless, it's the exact same piano key. So that can be a little confusing for some people. Hopefully I've made it pretty clear. So the next thing that you'll find in your workbook is an exercise. So here it says practice writing them. So I'm going to look for the note that's on the second line up from the middle, and I'm going to draw a nice circle here that goes over the line but doesn't touch any other lines. And it's also helpful to label this note just to really reinforce that that's what it is. So you can draw a few of these G's, just a little oval, and you'll know that it's this G on the piano. Next, we can practice drawing middle C's, and you can see examples of both middle C that's closer to treble clef and closer to bass clef. So I'm going to draw a small ledger line first, and then I'll draw the middle C on it. I can do the same thing here, small ledger line, and then draw C on it. So you can practice drawing this middle C for right hand and for left hand. And then finally we have bass F, and I want you to think of counting down 2 lines from the middle and finding that note and drawing it. You can label it, but always think about being down 2 lines from the middle. When you play those notes on the piano, you'll notice that they're the same distance away from middle C. If I place both of my thumbs on middle C, I can go 5 notes away to find treble G and bass F. And they're equal distances away on the piano, and they're also equal distances away from the middle on the staff. All right, so now we can have a look at the Note Rush drill, and you'll see here on the workbook there's a QR code, and it's also found on the website, so you can find that either way, but I'm just gonna go and show you how that works. Note Rush is a note drilling app that listens to your instrument for the answers. If you don't already have the app, you can get it at the Play Store or the App Store, and what you need to do once you've got it loaded is you need to load our custom level using the QR code. So we're going to load it using the camera feature, so what we have to do first is get into the custom levels. So if we just tap on the little pencil at the bottom, we'll have my custom levels. And if you're not already in that, just tap at the top here and locate your custom levels. And then you'll see up at the top there's a little camera that says scan. So all we need to do then is tap on the camera icon. It'll open up our camera, and then we'll locate our QR code so we can scan the Note Rush app. And it loads the drill that we're going to use straight into the app, so you don't have to wonder if you found the right one. Now we'll just press this yellow play button in the bottom. This will activate the drill, and then we're going to let it listen to our instrument, and we're going to play. First we'll press this big yellow play button in the middle, and we're going to play the note it asks to calibrate the instrument. Here we go. So we'll start with middle C, and then here's a new note. We'll play it. It's down here. It's bass F. Then we have treble G, and we've played all 3 notes, and I did a little bit of talking, but let's try one more time. I'll reload with this little circle. I'll calibrate. So there's lots of different themes that you can use across the bottom here. You can see there's birds and ladybugs and planets and a soccer theme and a basketball theme. This lesson only has 3 notes. In future lessons, we'll have the newest notes from the lesson, plus there'll be an option for a second drill that covers all of the notes learned from the very beginning. So let's go ahead now and practice our notes using the worksheet. So here you'll just grab your pencil and answer each of these notes with their name, and you can also check the answer key at the back of the workbook. That is the end of our first lesson. We've learned 3 notes. I need you to know them so well, because in our next lesson we're going to use those 3 landmarks to reference a bunch of other notes that live nearby. Go practice your notes and join me in lesson 2. NoteRush also has some really fun other options. If you look right here at the bottom where the note is, you can see these other symbols. So we can change the theme to a Christmas theme. Here we have some tropical fruits, some cute little cartoon critters. There's a garden theme, a space theme, a soccer theme, and a basketball theme. And I'll feature some of these other themes in some upcoming videos. Let's go ahead and try the soccer theme together.